This is about where I saw God on Mount Kilimanjaro as we climbed. At 7:30, March 20th, 2022, 10 guys and one woman from a team from an organization called Movember, which was for prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and men's mental health. We were all walking for men's health around the world and for those who we loved and honored. We made it. We made it up the mountain. Anthony, Keith, Nate, Blake, Dennis, Cole, Travis, Jack, Ron, Caitlin, and Reed. At 7:30 again, we made it to Uyuru Peak, the top of Tanzania, the top of Africa. We raised over $200,000 for this trip and for men's health. I did this for my dad, Arnold Christensen, who died of prostate cancer September 3rd, 1999. I went up for my friend and former colleague from Minnehaha Academy, the middle school band teacher, Paul Isaacs, who died May 15th, 2010 of prostate cancer, very similar to how my dad experienced it. And I watched him. I went up for my friend and former colleague, Peter Morse, who was a Minnehaha third grade teacher at the Bloomington campus when that was around. And he beat cancer this year, had it all over his body, did some Mayo Clinic trials, and beat it. He's a principal now out west of Minneapolis. I did it for my friend Charlie Peterson, who is our tech guy at the South Campus at Minnehaha. And his dad, Grant Peterson, also had prostate cancer and beat it and suffers with some side effects, they think, of beating that cancer. I went up for my friends, people on the faculty and students at Minnehaha Academy, specifically the lower school. Here I am holding a flat Red Hawk, very similar to a flat Stanley. So I went up with my friend Ron Monson, former faculty member at Minnehaha Academy, coach. His parents are big supporters. We're big supporters of Minnehaha. Their name is on our chapel at South Campus. He's the one that coaxed me into doing this last June 2021. Didn't think we were even going to get accepted, and we did. So then we trained. We saw. We held hands to this sign and cried as we neared it. Uyuru Peak, the top of Tanzania, 19,341 feet high, the world's highest freestanding mountain and Africa's highest point. I was walking a few members in our team behind Ron. Some of the people who needed to go slower walked behind our lead guide, Frederick, and I was so glad we were going that slow. And they call it pole pole in Swahili, because literally you are slowly walking up the hill. When Ron realized I wasn't with him, he stopped when he saw that sign and I saw this sign. And he turned around and was like, "Where's Blake? Where's Blake?" And he turned around and with very little breath, breathing hard, he grabbed my hand and we did literally walk to that sign and cried with joy and so many mixed emotions as we reached this point together. We got up at 11 p.m. March 19th, 7.5 hours prior to that picture, that last picture. We put on our gear. We ate a small breakfast and left for the summit at 12:08 a.m. on March 20th. As we meditatively walked at night, pole pole, like I said, or slowly, some of us were even falling asleep. Our guide would sometimes have to remind us, Jack, wake up, because we were so hypnotized by our headlamps hitting the person's feet in front of us and just going into a haze in our mind. We walked all night. A few of us were sick even because some of us chose not to take Diamox. I did take Diamox. The altitude sickness, it was an altitude sickness med, and the people who were feeling horrible wanted to go faster because they were nauseous and their head was pounding like it has never pounded before. They got frustrated with our pace and how slow we were going and vocalized it, while others who struggled because of where we were, even after taking the Diamox, respectively asked them to shut up with a creative expletive. If you can see, there's some of our headlamps of people. The sun is coming up over this little peak. It's looking back, and we are almost at the top. We get to Stella Point, which is about 45 minutes from the summit, the true peak. Here is my friend Dennis talking at Stella Point. Listen to his breathing.
Just made it to Stella Point. Beautiful sunrise. It's an amazing hike. The snows of Kilimanjaro.
You could see me on the side in my unicorn onesie here. There I was.
And the moon.
So we started off for Uyuro Peak, probably at 6:30 a.m. on the 20th. And this is looking towards that. And it is unbelievably beautiful. Actually, it's looking back from where we were. And you can see the town below of Moshi. Unbelievably beautiful. And don't you see God in that? And the stars up above and the colors. Unbelievable. But we made it. Once again, we made it. 7:30 a.m. All of us. Anthony, Keith, Nate, Blake, Dennis, Cole, Travis, Jack, Ron, Caitlin, Reed. And that flag honors those that we love and cherish, that we lost or that has struggled in their fight against prostate cancer, testicular cancer, or mental illness. Sure, we got to the top. 11 rich white people made it to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, to Uyuro Peak. And we can brag, we can shout, we can talk, we can post, and we can boast. But you know what? God got us up that mountain. Through many of your prayers and thoughts and support. And more importantly, God got us off of that mountain. And we saw God in another way. How did we see God? In an unexpected way. I did not expect to see God like this. How did we see God? Well, we saw God every morning and heard God. And even the morning of the summit hike, it was 11 p.m., March 19th, we heard the knock at our tent door asking if we wanted coffee or tea from Dennis or Pascal every morning. And we always thought, time to wake up, time to witness God in action. Our cooks, Joseph and Alfred, made every meal, and Dennis and Pascal, this is Dennis, by the way, served it every time. This is the mess tent where we ate all our meals. We had our 2-a-day health tests where they checked our oxygen, asked us how we were doing, asked if we had gone to the bathroom, asked if we had our electrolytes and 3 liters of water, asked how we were feeling and asked us to rate it out of 10. And then we met our guides all the time in this tent to learn about the business of the next hike the next day. And obviously for our breakfast, that summit, quote, morning at 11:30 p.m., it was a lot darker in that tent and many nerves a-churning, I bet. After each day of hiking, which was an 8-day total, Dennis and Pascal would also lay a bowl of warm water outside of our tent for us to wash. This was after they carried all of their supplies and started to get dinner ready to serve. Our porters, Veneers and Davita, well, they grabbed our big bag of gear every morning and wrapped it up and carried it to the next destination with a smile as they usually passed us on our way to the next camp. Baltazar and Emmanuel cleaned and carried our toilets. Venance and Bruno carried and set up our tents. The toilet is that green tent there in front of you, and we had 2 of them. Rashidi, oh man, Rashidi was first would do his job, which was carrying up all the tables and supplies for the mess tent, and maybe even more. And then he'd come back down to us and grab any of the backpacks of those who needed a rest as we were tired and walking up the mountain. Mind you, all these porters and workers already had passed us and were coming back down to do more uphill. Rashidi, we called him Happy. This is him.
Happy! Rashidi!
Hakuna Matata. Pole. Slowly. Hakuna Matata. No worries. He always said happy. Our guide Augustine would encourage us saying Kunana, which meant I see you. He'd also do this thing where he would fist bump us. He'd hold out his fist and fist bump us and say, you. And then he'd point back to himself and say, me. And then he'd point up and say, God. Here he is after Ron, who's in the background over there, had beat us all down on the last day because his knees were killing him. So he was kind of like sprinting. And he was also very happy to get the opportunity to buy us all a beer when we reached him. Here is Augustine.
Konana. We did it. Yes.
We're drinking Kilimanjaro beer. Our guides, that was Augustine, and then Leonce, and then Ron and I are in the middle, and then Evans and Frederick, well, they controlled our pace and how fast we went. And we did go pole, slowly. They checked our health every day and kept track to make sure we were healthy enough to get up there. They planned our days and they guided us up each trail. Notice, Ron brought some fake mustaches and gave them to them at the party at the end to celebrate our summit. Here are all of our helpers up the mountain, our angels up the mountain, how I saw God in action. Love in action at its best. What Jesus taught us all to do. Love others and be happy for them. 39 people helped us up to the top of Kilimanjaro, to Uyuro Peak, to head guides, to assistant guides, to cooks, to waiters, to toilet guys, to camp guys, and 27 porters carrying our gear and much more. This is how we saw and experienced the love of God unexpectedly, thinking the best part was going to be the top of the mountain, but it was the process, it was the walk, it was those who helped us up this mountain. And here they are at our party. They were so happy that our dream to get to the top was made or fulfilled. Like Augustine, right in the middle, it was like his 380th time up to the top, to the summit. No worries, Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. Jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana, lele wageni, wakaribishwa Kilimanjaro. Hakuna Matata. here is where I just wonder, after this amazing experience, how am I helping people up their mountains? All these people graciously, unselfishly helped me up this mountain I wanted to climb. It was a struggle. They needed to check on me often. They needed to check on us often. We're going up for a men's health organization that wants to make men aware to be healthy, that it's okay to share when they hurt. How am I helping people up their mountain as people help me up my mountain? We all climb every day. May the love of God follow us all and be with us and surround us in peace.